This is Gene Krebs.
Hi there. Oh. Whoop. Whoosh.
And we're high on Ohio.
Ohio is in the midst of an opiate epidemic. Since 2000, overdose deaths involving opiates have increased more than 500%. It's putting tremendous pressure on the state, from mental health and addiction services to hospitals to the entire court system and law enforcement. But it's also taking a toll on families and the agencies who have been tasked with protecting Ohio's children.
To discuss this added pressure on the system is Crystal Ward-Allen, Senior Managing Consultant with the Casey Family Programs. And then we will hear from Kathy Hill, Director of Athens County Children's Services.
The child welfare system is under tremendous pressure. I mean, this is an epidemic in our system. We find 70% of all the infants coming into care are in care due to their parents' addictions. This is a tragedy. This is going to impact those children throughout their lives.
In Ohio, we've had a safe decrease over recent years in the numbers of children entering foster care, but that trend is reversing itself, and it's being attributed to the opiate epidemic in Ohio. More children are coming into care. The age of children coming into care is younger than it was in recent years.
Gail Channing Tenenbaum is the Director of Policy and Governmental Affairs for the Public Children's Services Association of Ohio.
The average time a child stays in our custody, if we remove them, is between 70 and 75 days. These children are staying in care for a minimum of 300 days. We have not experienced that kind of a length of stay around one particular drug before.
Children's Services are tasked with investigating allegations of neglect and abuse. If the situation calls for it, the agency may take custody of the child. Here is Pat Rideout, Director of the Cuyahoga County Division of Children and Family Services, to explain further.
When situations are serious enough to warrant us seeking to remove children from their parents, we approach the court and petition the court for temporary custody, and it is the court who makes the decision to order a child out of their home and into the custody of an agency like mine.
Okay. Children can face many challenges due to their parents' drug abuse.
It's tough for any kid to be removed from their family and placed in an out-of-home care setting. But children who have been raised in environments where their parents are addicted to substances, often have their own set of challenges. They probably come from a situation where there's not been a lot of structure, where it's been a bit chaotic, and those children then will have a difficult time in school, where there's a great deal of structure expected of them, and they struggle in other ways to adjust to family life that's very different maybe from what they've been experiencing, especially in the recent past, as their parent was getting more deeply into addiction.
Judge Deborah Burrows is the Lorain County Domestic Relations Court judge and presides over the Family Drug Court. Here she further explains these challenges.
One of probably the most significant impacts that I have seen on children for substance abusing parents is the fact that it takes them a very long time, even after their parents get sober, to have a sense of calm and a sense that their parents are going to be able to maintain that long term.
Success is about recovery and maintenance of recovery and sobriety, and reunification of children safely with their families. That's success for us.
We can measure how many kids are being safely maintained in their home, how many kids are being removed and safely returned without coming back in. We don't want to see recurrent maltreatment, so have a report and then have another report. We want to see stability and safety for these children.
There are proven best practices when it comes to treating opiate addiction and its impact on families. This involves, among other services, medication-assisted therapy, defined as the use of medications in combination with counseling to provide a whole patient approach to treat substance abuse disorders.
MAT is medication-assisted treatment, and people who are addicted to opioids really require that kind of assistance in order to successfully recover.
Locally, I think our drug courts are working. Nationally, statistics support the fact that drug courts are working, and that is because actually drug courts are putting into place an accountability piece. And what I mean by that is that we find that people are more successful in getting sober and staying sober if they have to be accountable to that sobriety. The purpose of our family drug court is to provide an opportunity for parents that are Lorain County Children's Service involved to take care of their substance abuse problem and work towards reunifying with their children or retaining their children while they work a program.
The state is doing important work at a broad level to combat this epidemic. To discuss this is Tim Dick, Deputy Director of the Clermont County Children's Protective Services.
Governor Kasich, within his first 100 days, made the opiate project. He recognized that there was an issue and established a cabinet-level position forming opiate task force. We've worked on the Child Welfare Opiate Engagement Project, and we have completed our work on that and have our report ready. And what we focused on was taking a look at the scope of the problem throughout the child welfare system in Ohio. We looked at what are some of the best practices, not only throughout the state, but what are the best practices, what's working to address opiate addiction in the child welfare system nationally. And we wanted to look at the cost. What's the fiscal and the human cost that it's having on our system?
I think that they're trying to look at the prevention side of things, and I give them a lot of credit because this is the first time I've seen any kind of significant money go into some prevention.
There is more work to be done to relieve the pressures that the child welfare system is feeling from the opiate epidemic. What are some strategies to move this work forward?
It seems to me that there's always this trade-off going on. If you do prevention, then you can't do treatment. Or if you do treatment, then you can't do prevention. And we need to figure out a better way to do that because we absolutely need both of those things.
I think we need to have adequate and well-trained, well-supported staff. Think how I hear my colleagues put that right now, and I think I've even read it in some of the paper, is boots on the ground.
Give child welfare agencies flexible funding.
Look at the necessary treatment and the treatment for these children, both the teenagers who need very serious treatment and the young children who need trauma-informed treatment to recover.
The Center for Community Solutions supports efforts to extend best practices in dealing with families with an opiate-abusing parent. These can include extending the use of medication-assisted therapies and greater coordination between child welfare agencies, the courts, and addiction treatment providers. Only together can we relieve the pressure our children's services agencies are under. This has been Gene Krebs. On behalf of the Center for Community Solutions, thank you for watching.
For more about the Center for Community Solutions or their publications, please visit www.communitysolutions.com.